Hey guys, sorry for the late video today, but make sure you get a paper and pencil and get ready for part 2 of topic 11 review. All right, to get started, we are jumping into 11-4, which was all about equivalent fractions. Remember, equivalent fractions are fractions that name the same part of a whole. And when we say a whole, we're talking about 1. So we are going to look at these bars that I drew down here. And to start out, we are going to be trying to find an equivalent fraction for 1/4. Now, in order to make 1/4, we are going to put a line down the middle. So we have 2 pieces, that would be a half and a half. But we need 4 pieces. So for each of these 2 pieces, we need another 2 pieces, and we will get 4 pieces. This will then make 1/4 in each. Now down on the bottom, we are going to be making eighths. Since the denominator is an even number, we are going to still mark the halfway point. So we again have 2 pieces. If we were to split 8 into 2, we'd have 4 on this side and 4 on this side. That means we need 4 boxes to fit here and 4 here. To make things even, we can go ahead and split it in half again. And we have 4. So now we have 4 boxes. This still means that each box needs 2 in it to make 8. So we'll do that now. And we can go ahead and label. So this is us making our own fraction strips. Now, I want to find a fraction that is equivalent to 1/4. By looking at our fraction strips, I can fairly easily see that 2 of these eighths is equal to 1 of the fourths. So this right here would be a 2. What this means is 1/4 is equivalent to 2 eighths. Okay. To continue on with 11-4, we also discussed how you can get to equivalent fractions by either multiplying or dividing. You might see problems like this, where it will specifically tell you that this denominator 3 is going to become a 15. So I'm going to think, what do I need to do to 3 to make it a 15? I'm either going to multiply or divide. Well, since 3 is getting bigger, I know I'm going to be multiplying. So 3 times what would make 15? 5. Whatever I am going to do to this bottom, the denominator, I'm also going to do to the top, the numerator. If I was to start with the numerator, I would still be multiplying that same number to the denominator. Now I think 2 times 5 gives me 10. Like I said, you could be finding equivalent fractions by multiplying, but you also could be finding them by dividing. So looking here, if I'm going to go from 12, this denominator of 12, to a denominator of 4, that means I'm getting smaller, so I'll know I'll be dividing. I could think 12 divided by what is 4, or I could go the reverse way and say 4 times what would give me 12. It's the same answer regardless, which is 3. This means that I will be dividing 3 to this numerator to get a new numerator that is equivalent. 3 divided by 3 would give me 1. This means that 3/12 is equivalent to 1/4. Now, one that we don't talk about as often is when we have the same number on the top as we do on the bottom. What this is going to mean is we're going to just stay with our same steps. We don't need to change anything or try to get fancy. So if I'm going from 10 to 1, I know that I will be decreasing. I'll be doing the same thing on the top. 10 divided by what would give me 1, or 1 times what would give me 10. Either way, our answer is 10. 10 divided by 10 gives me 1, which means that 10 divided by 10 on the top will also give me 1. Now, when you have a fraction that has the same number on the top as the bottom, the numerator and the denominator are the same number, this is equal to 1 whole. All right, and our last section for the day is going to be 11-5, which was about number lines and equivalent fractions. This is going to be using a very similar method to what we did here with our fraction strips, except for instead of fraction strips, we're going to do it on number lines. So, for our first number line, we are going to do 2/5. I'll write it off to the side here, and 4/10. Now, there's not a super easy way to label fifths, but there is for tenths. Either way, both are going to start with 0 and end with 1. Now, 10 is an even number, so I'm going to start with the 10. And that means I'm going to mark my halfway point. That means I need 5 more marks here and here. So, actually, it would be 4 marks here, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 10. Now, we don't have to mark every single point, but we can do every other or just sporadic. We'll do every other, so all the evens. And 1 is the same thing here as 10 tenths, just like we discussed on the previous page. Now, although it's more difficult to do fifths because 5 is not an even number, I do know that I need 2 5s to make a 10. The way that I would use this is that it'll take 2 of these for me to mark 1 of these. Here, here, and here. So this is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5. Now, on the number line, I'm going to mark my spots. 2/5 and 4/10. Now, by taking our time and plotting these as accurately as possible, we can see that these are equivalent. They do line up. Now, let's do another set. This time, we will do 1/3 and 4/12. So again, 12 is the even number, so we're going to start there. I'm going to make my halfway point, which means I need 6 lines on this side and 6 on this side. My 0 is my first, my 1 will be my last. That's already technically a mark. So we need 6 on this side, 6 on this side. That's 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, my marks are not going to be all even. I am not a computer, but you will understand. And once again, I'm not going to mark every single point, but we can mark the even ones. So 2 12s, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, Miss Taylor made a mistake somewhere. I did one too many marks. We're going to label this as 1 and fix my mistake. Sorry. See, even teachers make mistakes. Okay. Now we are going to mark thirds. So just like with what we did up here, I know that I have to have 4 3s to make 12. So this means I'm going to count over 4, and that'll mark 1/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and approximately go up, and that'll be 2/3. And over here will be 1 whole. And at the beginning would be 0. Once again, marking my fractions, 1/3 and 4/12. And I can see that they will line up and be equivalent. All right, that's it for Topic 11 Review Part 2. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at noon. Bye.